What is going on, all you GBA fans? You got Matty Brolic here, and I am back for the last week, week 12 of GBA Season 6 Pick'em Crew. Now, unfortunately, I'm not joined by my amazing co-host, Mighty Mamoswine. Unfortunately, the Mighty Matty connection will not be available for not just 1 but 2 weeks in a row, which is kind of unfortunate because I think we made a really good team. And we definitely enjoyed making these videos for you guys. So our schedules just did not match up very well. Last week I was just way too busy, and that was totally on me. But the show must go on, right? So I'm just going to have to do this one by myself and see what happens. So, you know, Mighty Mammoth One will be missed, but it's alright because we will make do here. Now, Definitely an interesting scenario, especially for me, because if you take a look at the, I'm not sure if you could see it on this first page here on the opening slide, going over just week 11. If you take a look, this was literally probably the worst week of the entire season for everybody. I remember when I looked at the first four games that I looked at, I was 0-4. I was just like, wait, what? I thought I was gonna have a good week this week. This seemed like an easier week to pick. And I was 0-4. Thank gosh, I ended up coming back all the way to go 4-4. But you literally have a handful of 2 and 6s, a whole crap ton of 3 and 5s. You have 1 and 7, and then one person who actually beat me with a 5 and 3. So that is definitely pretty funny to see that we all just kind of dropped the ball last week. It was just that hard to pick. You know, the people who were hot were losing, and the people who just didn't seem like they matched up well were surprising us. So that is what you'll get in leagues that are as competitive as the GBA, and that just makes it a lot more interesting in my opinion. But for us pickers, it definitely makes it more frustrating. So anyway, moving on to week 12, the final week. I said it was an interesting situation for me, especially because I am actually in the lead, guys. I haven't been up officially all season. I think I may have been tied at one point, but I don't think so. I think I was always like right towards the top, but never officially at the top. In these last 2 weeks, even though I didn't do great, everyone else who was ahead of me kind of fell off, and the only person who's only 1 game out is Robin. So if I can just, you know, at least tie or do better than Robin this week and not have someone like Nick, Mighty Mamoswine, Burke, people like that come and just have a great week and really beat me by a lot, then I will win the Pick'em Crew Championship. So I am really excited, but the problem is this week is so hard to pick because not only are the matchups, you know, pretty even and pretty tricky, but at the same time some people really need to win more than others, and some people just really need to win regardless. Like, some people may need to win more than the person that they're playing, but the person they're playing still really needs to win and could really use this win. So that just makes it so much harder to pick because you know that some people are going to go crazy trying to get this win, and it's just, I don't know, it is definitely going to be tough to pick this week. But I think I made the most safe picks. I really went into the matchups this week to make sure I was picking the right, in my opinion, the right choices. So anyway, we will start with the first game here, which is the San Diego Chimp Chargers versus the Bo Russia Donphan, the rematch. Now, the Bo Russia Donphan gave MV and the Chimp Chargers their first loss. Now, in my opinion, MV did not prep very well that game. He did not bring his Donphan when Lars had a Raichu that was able to just volt switch around MV's team because it was able to outspeed almost all, if not all, of MV's Pokemon, and just get momentum right into the Landorus Eye, which is just absolutely broken as an attacker in the format. You know, it's not the fastest Pokemon, but it is just so ridiculously strong, and for an offensive team like MV's, literally a nightmare to switch into. So the fact that MV didn't bring that Donphan and opened himself up to a you know, volt turning type strategy into Landorus Eye definitely put him in a position where he couldn't really win that game. And I do not think he's going to make the same mistakes this time around. As Mighty Mamoswine always says, it is really tough to beat someone 2 times in a row in this league. You don't see it happen too often, and MV is one of those coaches and players that I just seeing him get the hang of this format so quickly, I don't see Lars, doing anything similar to beat MV again this week. Unless he changes things up like crazy and catches MV off guard in a different way, I don't really see Lars coming out with the win, because I haven't been crazy impressed with him this season, even though I know he's a good player. He's got a pretty cool team. I think that MV's going to get this win, especially because I think Lars is out of playoff contention, and that does take some stress off his shoulders to just say, like, you know what, I could come out and just try out some fun things and not really go too crazy, which means that he may not be as competitive this week, whereas MV, if he wins, he will, I think, guarantee the first seed in the playoffs, which is definitely kind of nice because he'll go in playing the 4th seed instead of playing a team that's been arguably tougher. So I think that MV needs to win more. MV does not want to lose again to the Don fan, and now he knows some of his tricks and the strategies that work against him, so I think he could play around that, use that to his advantage. So next game here, we got the Milwaukee Sawsbucks versus the San Francisco Giants. Now, it's picking against Battle Rex is getting kind of weird because he is just like coming out and really surprising me, and I would imagine a bunch of other people as well. But I don't know. It's just like seeing him make certain mistakes and just looking at his team matchups all the time. I never feel safe picking him, and I wish I did. I know he's probably gonna hate me for saying that, but I just gotta be honest. I don't really feel too safe picking him, because of some of the mistakes he'll make, even though he will play great every now and then. It's just I don't know when that's going to happen. And a couple of times I did try to pick him as the underdog, or thinking, he's going to surprise someone. He'll just end up losing. So I'm going to go with Gio. Gio's been playing a little bit better at this point in the season again, in my opinion. And I did like his matchup on paper against the Sawsbucks. There are very few matchups where I think the Sawsbucks have a good advantage over the team that they're playing, but who knows? Like I said, Battle Rex has been surprising people, so I just do not know. I just feel a little bit safer going Gio, and that's what I'm going to do here. So, next game was literally so hard to pick. George, at this state in the game, has, I don't know, he's just become, for me, someone who's like not as consistent as I'd like. And one thing I really like about George is that he puts a lot of time into prep, and he plays really well. Like, his prep is particular, and his plays have to be particular as well because his team is fast and offensive. So he really needs to try to pull off everything to the best of his abilities, which he does successfully, which just goes to show how good of a player and a coach he is. But I'm not sure that either his team is good enough or maybe his prep is as solid as it should be, because I feel like his games are always coming down to be really close games. I mean, I was looking at all the stats recently, and he is 7-4 with, I think, +2 differential. Now, you have Chimpact, who's like 8-3 with like +23 differential, something crazy. Now, that just goes to show that George's games are way too close, and his losses have been pretty detrimental. So I feel like he is not as consistent as I'd like him to be, which made me want to pick Mono. But then I did look at the matchups, and I just think things like Mega Beedrill, Infernape, Manaphy is another big one. A lot of George's threats just match up a little bit better against Mono's team. Mono's team just isn't fast enough to really face George's team. I think Mono has I don't think he's really weak on speed. I mean, he's got Mega Manectric and a Selgor, but I just don't think he has the speed and firepower to be able to handle the onslaught that is George's offensive team. But Mono is just such a fantastic player that it's hard for me to pick against him regardless. But I decided to go with him. I decided to go with George because I think he's got the better matchup here. And both guys really need the win, so I don't think you're going to see one guy just take it easier on the other. So we'll see what happens there. Definitely wouldn't be surprised to get it wrong, but hopefully the Arcanines can bring that home for me this week. So the next one we have the New Orleans Pelipers versus the San Jose Sharpedos, and John really has been playing well. So has Tom, though, so this one is definitely tough to pick as well. I really was kind of torn here, but I've been picking against Tom for most of the season, and it's been working out pretty well for me. So I'm just going to do it again here. I just think Tom, the problem is his team. It's not bad, but it's just the type of team where it's like, if you're really comfortable with those Pokemon, you can really make things work. But I'm not so sure how comfortable he is with those Pokemon, because he just doesn't seem like totally at home with them all the time. Despite him playing pretty solidly, maybe his prep is just lacking a little bit. I don't know what it is, But I think that it's just his team that is a little bit undermanned, because to see him play well and still lose most of his games just goes to show that he's missing something. And that's the thing about the draft format. You have to be good at playing, drafting, and building. And that's, three huge aspects that really come together to, force coaches to be good at all different things, which is not very easy in a Pokemon player. So maybe Tom is just lacking in the drafting department or the prep department. I don't really know what it is, because his playing has been good, but because I think John's team is a little better and John has just been playing pretty well in my opinion, I think he's going to get the win here, but I do not know. So here, the next one, you have the Utah Jasmine versus the Pittsburgh Piratas. Now, Tuff has been on a, I believe, 5-game losing streak. That's crazy. He was playing so well earlier on, and now seems like he's kind of getting back to the old Tuff. Not necessarily, but the fact that he's just been losing consistently is, I guess, old Tuff-esque, if you want to say. But he literally is 1 game away from making the playoffs for the first time in his career, and that's got to be huge for him. He's got to be dying to get this win. Cooper makes the playoffs regardless of whether he wins this game or not. So the fact that Cooper doesn't really need this win that much unless he really wants to play someone specific by being the number 1 seed, or he wouldn't be the number 1. I think he'd be the number 2. I don't know how that works, because he is number 3 in his division, in his conference, but he's number 1 in his division. So I don't know if he would get a spot over the wild card winner. I think he does. I think even if the wild card winner has a better record, I think he still technically would be the 2nd seed if he won this game. But like I said, Tuff is 1 game away, 1 win away from making the playoffs for the first time in his career. And with how he's played and improved this season, it would be nice to see him get into the playoffs. And I think he's capable of beating Cooper for sure. But the thing is, you just never know with Cooper. Like, Cooper could come out and bring some crazy sets that Tuff never in a million years would have expected and prepared for. And they could really end up blowing him back. But at the same time, Cooper could just bring some weird things, not want to reveal his strategies to a potential, person that he may have to play in the playoffs, because he's guaranteed to get in, even if he loses this game miserably. So, with that being said, I think that Tuff, Cooper doesn't have a ton of pressure on his shoulders. He may be able to just come out and try some wacky things, and if they work, they work, but they more likely than not won't work, because Tuff will actually be trying his absolute hardest to get this win. So I think Tuff needs to win more and is going to do anything to get it, and Cooper may just do some crazy things that he, likes to do and end up blowing the game for himself. So that's why I'm going to go with Tuff here. And let's see if he could pull this one home. Now, the next game was definitely tough to call, because these two had a really tight game the first time. But the first time, I think Miguel should have won that game. I think he ended up being too risky with his win con, which was his Weavile. And once he lost that, he didn't have much of a chance to come back. He played well other than that, but that one big play was, I guess you could say, a choke. And because of that, Fizz was able to capture the game. Now, Miguel was not playing his best at that point in the season. Miguel was definitely getting more used to his team. And not only that, he's playing better. He's shaking off a lot of rust. And he seems like he's got his head back in it for the most part. So, after a big win against Chimpact, I think that Miguel has some momentum. He is probably really going to want to win this game, because he has come a long way from where he started in the beginning, and he probably wants to get the revenge on Fizz for beating him in that close first match that they had earlier on in the season. And like I said, beating someone twice in a row in this league is not very easy. So for Fizz to beat Miguel twice is not going to be too easy for him, and I think that Miguel is going to pull out the win here. And the thing is, every time I pick Fizz, it just ends up working against me. He has one of the best records in the league, and every time I pick him, I end up losing somehow. So I'm just going to go with Miguel here. He really has been stepping it up, and like I said, for him to lose twice to someone, in my opinion, is fairly unlikely, because he's that good of a player. So moving on to you have the extremely hot New York Metapods versus the Boston Red Sox. Now, the Red Sox, I just think they need to win more. If they win... Actually, I think the Metapods are out of playoff contention. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. So they don't really need the win. If certain things fell into place, they would have had a chance to make the playoffs, but I think they're completely eliminated. Now, the Boston Red Sox don't need this win to make the playoffs per se, but if they win and MV loses, which is very possible considering the fact that MV's team doesn't match up too well against Lars's, then the Red Sox will go in as the number 1 seed, which is always a bit of an advantage because they will get to play a team that's quote unquote weaker in the first round of the playoffs. So it'd be interesting to see if Nick could pull the win here over a very hot Metapod team. But like I said, they are eliminated from the playoffs, the Metapod. So I think Dan's mentality going into it is just going to be, let's have fun. This is the last. This is the first time in a while where Dan hasn't really needed to worry about going into the playoffs. So maybe he will just go in, being a married man now, just kind of enjoying life and saying, you know what, like last game of the season, let me just have some fun here. There's no pressure at all whatsoever, and let's see, what I could do. So I don't think that Dan has a huge reason to try to win this game too hard, and Nick has pretty good reason to try to win this game. And he's just been playing so well all season. Why not finish with a really good 9-3 record? So I'm gonna have to go with the Red Sox here, as I just think it makes more sense. Now, as for the last game, this one is pretty tricky as well because Sam Fufu has turned it up towards the end of the season. I knew he was really good. I said it from the beginning. I couldn't believe that he was going on such a losing streak earlier on, but he is finally back, playing well, knocking people off like I knew he could, but it's too little too late because he is eliminated from playoff contention. And Chimpact right now is basically the hottest team in the league. Last week against Miguel, he pretty much lost based on hacks. So, had the hacks not happened, I think Chimpact gets that win and continues his hot streak of just being the best team in the league. He still is the best team in the league right now with an 8-3 record because his differential is so ridiculously high. And to win this game will solidify him as the number 1 team this season. So I think that's a little bit more of a reason to play than just trying to get a win over Chimpact, which is, I guess, would be Sam's motive because all he's going to get out of that win is just another win and end up going 5-7, which is a respectable record, but it's not that much different as going 4-8, in my opinion, considering that he's eliminated from the playoffs regardless in both ways. So Chimpact, like I said, has really gotten the hang of the format and is the hottest coach in the league. So it's very tough to pick against him, and it just seems like he's got more of a reason to try to win this game. And yeah, like I always say, he's a very good friend of mine, and I know what he's capable of. So I am going to lock Chimpact here for the week, and looks like the fans did as well. So I think that's a good choice, fans. And yeah, that will wrap it up for this week's Pick 'em Crew. We went nice and fast, but yeah, I think that I definitely got in what I wanted to say. I didn't go into the matchups as much as I thought I would, considering I actually looked at them a lot. But, for example, like John's, I like John's matchup over Tom a little bit. I actually didn't like Tuff's matchup over Utah really much at all. But, like I said, I think that Tuff just needs this win. And Cooper could just bring some random stuff that doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, definitely going to be an interesting week. Because if I can just get like a 5-3 record, I think I should bring this one home, because that would mean that someone like Robin would need to go 7-1 to beat me. Well, actually, no. If I go 5-3, the problem is if someone like Robin does slightly better than me, or even say Nick, Mighty Mamoswine, does really, really well and ties me. Both of those guys, if they tie me, they have better locks of the week overalls than I do. I went 7-4, which is pretty good. But Robin went 8-3 and Nick went 9-2. Whereas Burke, even though he's pretty close to me, at least he is at a 5-6 lock of the week. So I'm not worried about him tying me. So if I can get a nice solid, 6-2 would be great. 5-3, 6-2. I think I'll be in pretty good shape to be the Pick'em Crew champion, which would be awesome, being that it's my first season being an analyst. So I would love that. But the important thing is that everybody is always coming out to vote and making it such a more enjoyable process for all the analysts here. I really enjoyed doing the Pick'em Crew this season, guys. I wish, Nick, Mighty Mamoswine, was here to do it with me, because we made a great team, and I really enjoyed working with him. He's a fantastic guy, and yeah, overall, this was just a great experience. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, because, yeah, it was just so much fun, week in and week out. constantly seeing these crazy results week in and week out with just such a crazy competitive league, it was just definitely something. It was an experience that I'll never forget and I'll cherish for the rest of my life. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Definitely, keep letting us know what you guys did in the comments. You could definitely leave what you want to pick for the playoffs, where you think your results are going to be there. I'm sure some of you in the comments have like way better records than us, analysts do. Some of you guys really killed it. I don't even know if all you guys are saying is truthful, because some people are like, oh yeah, my overall at this point is like 60 and 20, and it's just like so ridiculous. But hey, some of you guys may have a knack for it. I do not know. And if that's true, then bless you. That's amazing. So that'll wrap it up for GBA Season 6 Pick'em Crew. And yeah, have yourselves a fantastic day, and I will see you guys hopefully soon. Later.